So one of the things we need to be aware of from the very start is our checklist lists the 3 mandatory items that we need to accomplish before we can go for a flight. We're going to obtain a weather briefing, then work on the weight and balance, and then the performance calculations. Easiest way to look at it, and your instructor will go through the details of obtaining a weather briefing and what all the details are and the things that you can fill out in these different areas, and then you can save this so that you don't have to do this over and over again every day, filling out this information. You can watch a video tutorial on this as well. Then you're going to move over to the weight and balance. It's very typically going to be quite similar or the same for several of your training flights. If you have roughly a 1,700 pound airplane and you have 200 pounds of fuel at 1,900 pounds, then maybe you and your instructor together only weigh 400 pounds, and so 2,300 pounds, maybe 50 feet in the bags, but really way under max ramp weight, which is 2,558. Do this in detail and with your instructor, and then figure out the moments for each of those items, pilot and front seat passenger, and of course the fuel and the baggage, and then come up with a center of gravity position for the flight. Again, since most of your flights are going to be very similar, this is an exercise you're not going to have to do 100 times, but you do need to review it every time, and really only takes seconds. Then the very next thing would be your performance calculations. Easiest thing to do there is, for given conditions, we go to a full gross weight airplane at Van Nuys, right around 1,000 foot pressure altitude, between 20 degrees, 30 degrees, 40 degrees Celsius, around 2,000 feet to clear a 50-foot obstacle. If we had a safety margin of 50%, now we're talking about maybe 3,000 feet to clear a 50-foot obstacle. And on a landing distance, we're going to scroll all the way to the end here for the landing distance. Short field landing distance, really the only table you have is the full gross weight table anyway. For the given conditions, 1,000 foot pressure altitude, it's around 1,400 or so, somewhere is around, let's say we're just going to take around 2,000-ish to clear a 50-foot obstacle. And then you compare that to the chart supplement, in this case the Airport Facility Directory section, California for Van Nuys. You know that for the takeoff distance with a safety margin, let's say we have around 3,000 feet, but takeoff runway available is 4,013. On 16 right, it looks even better. Takeoff runway available is 8,000. Then if we are landing and apply our safety margin, you can see there it's a little bit more of a tighter number. On 16 left, around 2,500 feet, and 16 right, of course, way safe with 6,500 feet. So those are the items you're going to go through. Your instructor will show you those in detail, and there are some shortcuts to these. Just one thing that you can't do is skip them. They all need to be done.